You are watching the biggest, the largest, the highest, the greatest, the toughest, and the mightiest spiritual platform. My name is Queen Hadasha. Call me Empress Makida. I am the queen of spirituality. I hold the belt of African spirituality. I speak or preach African liberation and individual consciousness. I welcome you to another great episode. Don't forget, always remember, I am the woman of peace. I won an award. You were here, you watched it. So it's not that major meaning. I am the spear of destiny. I welcome you. So platform. I appreciate your presence with us. Today is a great day because we have one of our fathers here who is going to give us blue, green. He's going to tell us everything about spirituality and how a popular religion has destroyed African spirituality with the dogmatic. So let's welcome our guest for today and see what he has for us. Papa, we welcome you to Revelations.
Thank you.
Okay, so today is your first time.
Yes.
So pay obeisance to our followers, greet them, and introduce yourself to them. And if there are any loved ones you want to say hello to, go ahead and do that.
You meet Dr. Kofi Asare. I have always believed that without spirituality, Ghana, and for that Africa, can never develop, because it is spirituality that makes you to love your neighbor, that makes you to keep your environment, that gives you all the rules to live as a spirit spark from God, having a physical experience on earth. Sometimes we look at it as a different way. We think we are physical beings and we are looking for spirituality. That's why we are lost. But we are really spiritual beings. We are a spark of God, and we are now experiencing the human life. And that's why when you start doing evil things, not like how God wants, you become confused.
Okay, Papa, we welcome you.
Thank you.
So what exactly are you?
I'm a holistic wellness consultant. By holistic wellness, I mean I study and practice healing with herbs, emotions, environment, and intelligence. Most people do not even fathom the fact that even anger can cause disease. And about 80% of all the women who have fibroids and other growths in their bodies is because of suppressed emotion.
Sir?
Woman fast someone check.
Hey!
I remember doing a program on Adum FM when it was in Tema, and I talk about this, and immediately they opened the phone lines. A woman rang, and she was crying. Said, "Doctor, I said, what can you ampo?
Obi boni and chana na dani fibroid akwetena we yem."
Obi ama de me tin se me de beche.
Mini ya no.
When she put the phone down, then the husband rang. He said, "Hey, no, of course, Sassi, I'm a hero. Or so I said, Bakumo and Jemuda." And we can find it even in nature. The animals that are very ferocious, they don't live long. The lion lives for just about 16 to 17 years. But look at the tortoise. He lives up to about 170 years. And it has recently been found out, I do psychological healing too. It has recently been found out that people who have good heart and they live among areas that they feel happy, they live long because their emotions are calmed down. So if we are living in a society where there is true spirituality, where people know that Uyonko da, now so that a lot of people will not have the sicknesses they are having today.
Abusia, your guest ni your Dr. Onyameba Kofi Asare. Now the topic ni misconceptions in spirituality and the damage popular religion has done to the study and practice of African spirituality. And no, and the topic no. And before we start, you already know we will do a little bit randoms with him, and then Yabeba get into the topic. No, Papa, we welcome you. We appreciate your presence on this platform. I welcome you. And then we appreciate your presence with us. We are the Pearls and we are Consciousness family, and keep watching. Okay, so Papa, when you say some misconceptions in spirituality and damage popular religion, what is the popular religion? What is that popular religion?
The religions that claim to have the higher percentage of the population in Ghana.
Which is what?
Christianity, Islam. In fact, African traditional religion has never come out with any percentage.
So what do you believe in?
I believe in the God of love that lives in everybody.
Okay.
After being a teacher for 30 years, I found out that the children that we claim to be very bad children are because they have been wrongly, they have been misguided or they have been miseducated. Because there is another thing. We mistake schooling to be education. An educated person should be relevant to himself and to society. You see, you don't live for yourself alone. If you live like that, then I don't call you an educated person, and I don't call you a person who believes in God. Because every moment of our breath must be shared. That's how all living things. Look at the trees. They don't produce oxygen for themselves. They produce oxygen for us to breathe. But look at how some people can clamor over material things. They don't even mind killing people just because of the temperature. How long are you going to even live on earth? And we classify people. Right now, a lot of the problems we are having in Ghana and Africa is due to the prejudice of religion. People think that, in fact, and prejudice is the greatest evil on earth. Because prejudice means to judge before you even know the facts. So immediately they say, oh, I see me see way. I'm quite sorry. Ubetina incense, you born on them. Hey, you are the devil incarnate. So everybody looks at you from the lens of Onyani Papa. Meanwhile, Onyani Bonen Soda. People look at others in the community that way or who say crusade crab or abasieda. But what are you going to teach over there? Because if you look into the Bible, they have something called epistle, which means lesson. Okay? Then they have a message to the people. Corinthians is a message to the people of Corinth. Ephesians is the message to the people of Ephesus. What message are our people giving to the people of Tema or the people of Ashiama, which will be relevant to our situation in Ghana, or to the people of Tamale? If we were to leave the tenets of spirituality in religion, our society would have transformed. Because if you're a teacher, you teach in such a way that the children will feel the presence of your love. And so they will learn something better. If you're a driver, you will learn about your job. You will not get on the road, and when they ask you for road signs and you see the head of a cow, then you say choba. And when they say go back to school, then you say, oh, my driver. We must do any form of work we are doing from our heart. And that, I believe, that is spirituality. And that will make God to talk to you. Because the energy of God is in us. We are sparks of God, and it reflects in everything that we have. That's why our ancestors were able to have the divine intuitive knowledge. Today, a lot of people are talking about bitter kola. Bitter kola is the seed of the chapia tree. Now, we all know that our ancestors told us to use chapia as chewing sticks. Why didn't they choose any other tree in the forest? And we call them uneducated. We are rather uneducated.
Asamo.
You see, look at how they kept the environment. If you look at the forest, they kept some places that nobody should go there except the healers or the okonfo. And the whole lot of stories were painted around it. Oh, they kill people there. It is fetish. But the point was that they were keeping it as a natural pharmacy. And so they didn't want people to go there and disturb the terrain, so that even in the night, if somebody is having an emergency, the healer knows that when I walk 3 steps behind this big tree, I can get nunum, I can get akoko mesa, I can get this. You see, but we try to paint everything that is ours with so much evil because we don't have spirituality. In fact, it's so unfortunate we have used religion to sort of dismantle the true tenets of spirituality.
What is the true tenet of spirituality?
The true tenets of spirituality is love, and that drives you not to do evil to your neighbor.
But don't you know the church preaches love than any religious body in the world? Don't you know?
Well, there can be a sort of love that is propaganda love.
Hey, propaganda love, Papa.
Yes.
Love also propaganda one.
Where, this is my.
The voice they use in church.
Yes.
And the one they use at home, and then the area.
And we do.
You are watching the biggest and the largest. Maame bi oti area ho. Hey, first me first house. Obekun na wat say nsuo na wahwie egu efie nanim ono betwam woni fie nanim no wabehwie egu wu fie nanim. Oye emoriton. Na waye na wabehwie egu fie nanim. Koka adwuma obediwu na dakuru bi. Nipa bi ane ne ye business wu ye na ye say ye kɔ na sɔre ye kɔ ya say maame ne crap so your so for maame what asɔre ho. Me say if half of my friends left the church before they can close. I say, wait, they want to nyum no kasa na we dey bi nie.
Propaganda love.
Propaganda love pa. I'm kasa propaganda then politicians need you.
Oh.
You are watching the biggest. So Papa, your topic is misconception in spirituality and the damage popular religion has done to the study and practice of African spirituality or spirituality. Take us through.
We have tried to use religion in a way that sort of destroys our true ego as Africans. It has become a channel of self-defeatism and self-hate. That's why people go to the extent of even. I become surprised when I see the young ones calling their beloved bibroni, because that word abroni, nipa oya abro, into odofuno oya wa abro. It is not so. We have got a lot of misconceptions to the extent that I know people who even are able to create a situation where some in-laws are seen like devils. I know some churches who perform marriage rites without a parent. Oh, yes.
In Ghana?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Oh, yes. Especially if, let's say, your daughter or son, mostly it's the daughters, if they are going to a marriage, and let's say the father or the mother is not a Christian, he or she is a devil. She will come and cause trouble. So they will either invite you, propaganda invitation, by putting you on the peripheries, or they will not even invite you at all. I had a friend who heard her daughter was being given in marriage in Takrady when he was in Tema here. Her own daughter, not a stepdaughter. And by the time he could say Jack, they have given her daughter away in marriage. And the Akonta who stood in place of the father claims to be a top-notch Christian. I know of homes where people go to church, serve in the churches and everything, and not like I'm all taking on one side of it. I also know of Muslims who go and pray for 5 times, and yet they come and they indulge in all the illicit businesses that we have in Ghana. So what is it? If you pray 5 times, that means that you are close to God. Or if you go to church and you sing in the choir, you hold the biggest Bible, you dress your children, put them in the car, then it means you are serving God. What about your relationship with your neighbor? What about even the work that you do? If we are seriously doing our work well, this country would have been upbound in leaps and bounds.
Let me ask this. What are the 3 good things you see about religion? 3 good things you see about religion.
1, it brings people together, a fraternity, which is very good. And then 2, it reminds people to at least learn about God. And then 3, it's a point where people can use as a comforting zone, because there is a group that will comfort you. Because in my life, I sojourned somewhere in Liberia, and there was this guy who was a Muslim and he was hurt. He was a Ghanaian. But the mere fact that he was a Muslim, all of them rallied around and helped him to cure his sickness and help him financially to resuscitate his shop and everything. So I think that's a very good sign.
All these things you just said about Christianity is a great impact. Okay, if they have a system, they can put people together, they can support people, and they can comfort people. These are great steps. So what do you think they should take out and adapt that we can be okay with it, that we won't say they are damaged to spirituality?
You see, in the society, you can't always force people to think the way you think. And one of the things that I've seen that is making religion a problem is people are creating a situation of holier than thou. Like, look at this guy. He doesn't go to church. Okay, condemning people. If that is taken out, it will be fine.
That is one.
And then you also try as much as possible to practice at your workplaces what you practice in the church. If the nurses who go to church will talk to their patients at the hospital the same way they talk to their pastors and other friends in the church, it will be wonderful. If teachers will go to school and will not tell the students that, me, whether you learn or not, I'll be paid. I don't think you say that, the pastor will say that to his members, that if you like, you can come to church or not. So if that attitude can be changed, it will help us a lot. And then honesty. If people will not go and shortchange people.
Which is that?
That, like if you are measuring your gari or your rice, you have put something inside there.
Dolonka.
Yes.
You know all this?
Yes, I've gone. I was a single parent before, so when I was teaching, on weekends, I still go and buy things and come and sell. Because I didn't want my children to have problems.
So you were doing some?
No, I didn't do that.
But how do you know?
I saw the women doing it because they used to tell me, teacher, they use the big one to buy it and the small one to measure it out. I used to go to Tichima and all those places. So if people are to know that what I'm doing to my friend, although he's not seeing it, is not good, then you have set the spark of spirituality in place, because God will be happy for you to do that.
That is true.
Then the third one is religious prejudice in our way we do things. Like somebody meets, I'll give you a typical example. There was a group, I think they were a Buddhist group, who also used to meet and meditate. And then there was this guy who was a preacher, and he would intentionally go and stand by these people's window. So one of them went and reported to the police. Because the police was also a Christian, he immediately told them that I want to say, because I think that is wrong, because somebody's personal belief cannot override the rights of other citizens in the area just because he is using the name of God. But look at the prejudice the guy used, because he was a Christian in a place. He was saying these Buddhist people like there are some yes. So if we are to eschew that one, then religion will be beautiful, and then we will be respecting each other. Because when I went to Malaysia, I saw that the Taoists, the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Christians, the Muslims, they were all living side by side.
You won't even see anything.
Yes. But come to Ghana, everybody wants to show that.
Akwabi oba you show is also or ye Christian apologist. Christian apologist, or say or no religion is superior. Superior again. You are watching the biggest. Okay, so now you said a whole lot, but let me ask this. Do humans need to worship anything in the first place?
I think if you have the inclination to worship, then the first thing you have to worship is yourself. Because when you worship any other thing which is outside of yourself, you cannot reveal the true God nature within you, because you will always be externally dependent, and that helps the tricksters to manipulate people, because you will not know that you can fast for yourself, you can meditate for yourself, you think somebody have to wave a certain wand over you, and then everything, people become lazy about God. You see, with that idea.
So you said it is this religious bodies that has damaged spirituality. So what spirituality are you talking about?
Spirituality in the sense that you are a spirit being, and everything you are doing have what we call the influence of the third eye or the sixth sense. Because as we have our fingers, we can't see the sixth finger. It's something that you do beyond the material things. For example, there are some of us who may not be physically rich to tell somebody, come for 10,000 cedis and do this. But I will be able to tell you that, my son, if you lead your life like this and this and that, it will let you attain this particular level. People don't see that as a gift. But that is the greatest spiritual gift. Knowledge is the highest gift. So I remember there's a place in the Bible which says that to obey is better than sacrifice. So if you are not living with people well, or you go to your work site and you don't work well, then on Sunday you go and pray in tongues and truths. Then I don't know what you are talking about.
So our ancestors, you said they were keeping they were showing love to each other, they were keeping the spaces, the forest and all that. Were they worshiping anything? If yes, what were they worshiping?
I believe that our ancestors believed there was a force somewhere which they call Nyame, or the Gans would say Atana Nyumo. But then, like a philosopher said, if goats were to have a god, they would believe in a goat god. So humans also started seeing God from the human perspective, that if he is a king or a chief, then you should have servants through whom you can get to him. And I believe that brought about the idea of deities. But I don't think that they were worshiping those deities. They really believed there was God.
Is there God?
The God in us, because we are creators.
So what about the deities? Are they in existence?
Well, as for deities, it depends on the individual.
But
what he believes.
To you, do you see them as something that is in existence?
I believe there are forces, and every force can be harnessed. And depending on how it is harnessed, it can become a deity. Because like rivers have energy in them. Because I grew up, I'm a typical Tema boy, I grew up in Tema. And those were the days of the Black Star Line Nkrumah made. And he named them according to the rivers of Ghana. And according to the captains, there's always a small bottle with the river he named in the captain's cabin. And those days, we were told that when they reached the Bermuda Triangle, where it was very rough, they took that water, prayed with it, and I believe they just said that you are water, we are also water, we are friends. And they were able to sail through. So I believe that the harnessing of energy with the faith and then the love to do good can manifest miracles.
So at this point, I ask you this. Human beings and the energies or the gods, who created who?
That's what I said. If goats were to have God, they will have a good God.
So who created who? That's the question.
The concept of a deity comes from whoever conceptualized the deity.
No, so what I'm saying right now is that we all hear that Onyameba, so what's that? Right? Can you tell whether Onyameba and Onyame? Which is which? Onyameba and Pana?
Well, I think the infinite mystery about creation means that human beings started from somewhere. And that is why almost all the various races of the world have their own creation story.
What I want to understand is that as you were talking, you said energies are there to harvest, right? And you can harvest, groom it, and it works for you with a great heart and all that. It means if someone don't harvest these water energies on or all that, they are not God. Can they be God without human beings assessing them?
Human beings are the ones who make a God.
So I ask again, God and humans, who created who?
Since we are finite and the energy is infinite, I believe we are a subset of the infinite. So creation in the physical form, I don't believe in that one. But I believe that we came from a source. And if that source can be called creation, fair enough.
So we, as mankind, and the God we worship to bring things to reality, like you said, I'm using your own words to ask these questions. You said you can harness the river deities with a good heart and love, and they will work for you, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking, if you do that, have you created a God or not?
I believe the word God or Onyame or Atananyumo is used to describe a unified entity.
Which is?
Which is that Atananyumo or Onyame. And I don't think it is something that we'll have in bits and pieces where many people will be having their gods. No.
So explain to us Atananyumo and where he is and what he does for mankind.
I think the Atananyumo is an infinite source of energy.
So it's not a persona?
No, it cannot be physical. It cannot be physical.
So how does one assess him? How does one assess him?
It is through, one, a belief system. And that belief system develops within cultures. So a lot of people have the way by which they describe their infinite God. And if the people are warlike, they believe in a God that goes to war with them. Like the Jews have the Jehovah God. And I think Africans see God as a parent, a dwelling place. That's the reason why the Ghanaians say Atananyumo, Father, Mother, God.
I understand that part. What I want to understand is that, like you said, Atananyumo, if mankind does not assess them, who will know them? That's the question. Who will know them? If mankind does not assess them, who will know them?
It's human beings that really create this concept of a unified God. And sometimes we try to explain it by natural phenomenon that is happening, like thunder, lightning, and all those things, if people do not understand the concept. So some of the descriptions start getting cut off as physical science merges with spiritual science and certain things are understood. Then we see that they are no longer a miracle, but it's just a phenomenon.
I just want to know whether these gods created us or we created them. into this area, our third dimension here, not the other dimensions, not even the 4 dimensions. I'm talking about here. Who created who here on this earth, this 3rd dimension?
We have created God.
We have created God. So do we have to worship anything? The Creator lives in his creation. He doesn't worship what he has created. So we create these gods on these realms and we worship them. Does it make sense? Sorry for my question.
Anybody who attempts to worship deities or separated energies is misguided.
It's misguided.
Yes.
Are you in Ghana? How long have you been in Ghana?
I've been in Ghana throughout.
Okay, so now this is going on. Let's go back to Yenananumusum. I think you've heard it. It's not news. You've heard it. So what is Yenananumusum that you think they are talking about?
You see, I think in history, when people do not find a meaning in something, they try to induce that meaning from certain phenomena that happen. And it goes on and on and on until it forms a concept. Personally, I have challenged certain things like pouring libation with a schnapp or with a drink, because schnapp comes from Holland. And at what time did any deity tell anybody that he wants a drink from Holland before he will listen to them? If somebody at a shrine feels like drinking abrochinsa, he should say it and stop wasting our ears that it is only with a schnapp that you can be able to connect with a deity. It's that person's personal thing. So people create some things which are relevant, and some of them are not relevant.
So if all these things are created by mankind and it is working, what kind of force do you think is backing this?
Like we have the force of gravity, whether you believe it or not. If you are on a height and you just slip, you will fall. Whether you believe in the force of gravity or not, you will fall, because the energy is there.
Papa, you hear this every day. They are killing goats, they are killing cows, they are killing this. Now you have made us to understand that though your topic is misconception in spirituality and damage popular religion has done to the study and practice of spirituality, you said a lot of good things about them, okay? And you've added things that you think they can correct and they are okay. Those who are also pouring libation and killing goats and killing cows, what is their own take from you? What do you think they are doing that is benefiting society? And what do you think they should take out, and what do you think they should add for it to be conducive for humanity?
As far as African spirituality is concerned, just like we were talking about people not being honest with their religions on the other side, there are people also in African religion who are not honest, because like I was saying, if you want to drink the foreign drink, don't say that it's their energy that one snaps, because pouring libation is a prayer. You can use water. Why should it be snap? And if it is a day of celebration and you think that you want to use any drink at all, why should it be from a fireplace? So those things are wrong. And I think it is a funny trick by which people use to be able to get some things they want. They can do away with that. But there are other good things also with African spirituality, like the day they will tell you, you don't get into the Sakumo, you don't go into the Chemuena. The fishes will grow for more people to get fish at the right time. And secondly, the constant walking through the lagoon can also make it dirty. You see, so, and like I said about the forest also, the laws they put, some of the taboos, are really scientific, because like they will tell you, you don't farm close to a river. It will cause siltation of the river, and one day it can flood the whole village. Okay, so whether you understand it or not, as long as that is the law in the area, you will have to obey it. And it kept our society very well.
Okay, and last one. I asked for 3.
We also have festivals for harvesting, festivals for fishing, and all those things, which helps to bring the people together. For example, the concept of togetherness is enshrined in Nobua, at the areas where they are basically farming communities, and brought the people together. Because if one person finds it difficult to weed maybe 5 acres in a season, if with the Nobua, 6 or 7 of his friends can help him to clear, then he also goes to help people to clear, we'll be able to do a lot of great things, and it brings about unity of purpose.
Okay, so your topic is misconceptions in spirituality and the damage popular religion has done to the study and practice of spirituality. I want you to explain the study and practices of spirituality. And as you were also explaining, you were saying African spirituality, and you are luring it to those who are killing cow and harnessing of water energies and all that. Is that African spirituality to you?
No, that has been made into a form of religion that I think is wrong.
So what is African spirituality?
It is embedded in you.
Okay, that is African spirituality.
The one that is embedded in you. And African spirituality is embedded in our culture. You must be respectful. You must know how to talk. You must not. And they embedded them in a lot of institutions. Like, I know in some areas in the country, they have this boys that are made into Asafo companies. Basically, some of them are trained for war, but at the same time, they are also trained to keep discipline among themselves, peer discipline. Because even up to today, I made some investigation just latter part of last year, and a boy who was among these fancy dancers, the fancy dancers from Sweden, was telling me that they have rules and regulations that if you are a young man among them and you do not find work to do and you go and impregnate a lady and you are not able to look after that lady, whatever work you do in conjunction with them, they will collect your money and go and give it to that lady and the child. So it instills discipline into the people, and it also instills hard work. A typical example is this galamsey. if we were to have active Asafo companies, there is no way, even the chiefs don't have mouth. There's no way that these things would have happened. Because one, all of them have some job to do, so they cannot be lured by small pennies left and right. And then secondly, they all believe in the concept of keeping their society intact, not to do anything that would destroy their society, their forest and all those things. So you see, there are good concepts there, but African spirituality is also embedded in the culture of the people. You see, there is something I call social insurance. If a child is told to respect, honor, and serve adults, you learn a concept that one day you will also be served and honored by others. And at the same time also, if you are in the good books of older people, you will feel comfortable to say that, oh, I have this problem and this problem. But if you are the type who is
every day problem, I feel be and
you are not even ready to serve anybody, you live with them in the same area, they will see you washing your own car.
They will pass by you.
And then when you are about to move, oh, Dad, will you pass this place? Like, I would like to go with you. What are you talking about? Or especially those of us who are healers. Some will come with their long faces that, I have malaria, or I suspect I'm very sick. Oh. And sometimes you may need somebody just to send that buy this thing for you. They will see you draw your neck and they are gone. You see? So that concept of helping or respecting adults and putting them at a certain pedestal, which some outside cultures seems to frown upon, like they will tell you that if you are making kinky and your own child is helping you to make the kinky, it's child labor. What are you talking about? Then what is apprenticeship? That's social insurance. If you respect adults, one day you become an adult, or one day you need the help of an adult.
It's sowing.
Yes.
You sow and you reap. It's as simple as ABCD. Okay, you are watching the biggest and the largest. Our time is almost. So, Daddy, I want you to tell us study and practice of African spirituality. And then when you are done telling us how to study it and how to, in fact, explain this first. How do we study and practice spirituality? Study, practice.
By knowing yourself and by listening to the good examples, because spirituality is just a way of life. To me, I think spirituality is service. So if you are growing up and you see how your uncles, your aunties, your fathers and things help one another, you must be able to learn from that example and try to be like them. Okay? And then you practice it. You don't just say, oh, as for this, my uncle, he's so nice, oh, he's so good, oh. Last time when the bridge was broken, they went and did it. Are you studying so that when you are his age, you will also go and do it? So as for spirituality, it's a way of life. It's service.
It's service. Okay, so now that you are bringing your episode to an end, our time is almost due. In 5 minutes, I want you to send a message to all Ghanaian leaders, any sector that you think this message should go to. Any sector you think they are not practicing this kind of spirituality that is damaging this continent as Africa. In fact, even from Ghana, as Ghana, start from the presidency to wherever you think they need to practice this kind of spirituality, but not religion.
Exactly. African spirituality is not coded in dogmas like you have to behave this way, you have to behave that way. But it's in your way of life. Okay, so if you are practicing African spirituality, it is difficult for you to be a pretender, because everybody guides and can rebuke you if you do what is wrong. Anybody who is older than you will be able to tell you that stop what you are doing, because there is a centralized guideline that don't do this. One of the things I told them, especially when I was in one of my tours in the US, was they used to tell us that they asked me a question that in Africa, you people do not regard women. And I said, come to my country, Ghana, and see. Even if you're a man, somebody see you exchanging words with a woman, you have disgraced yourself totally, because it's not part of our way of life. You see? Hey! It's wrong. The society kept itself. The code of behavior was accepted by everybody. That's why even in Africa, when people marry, they put some adults behind the marriage. Okay. So that they guide and help you through, because they know there will be problems in life. They don't leave you just like that. Okay. And so if this same habit goes into our workplaces, to our ministries, to our ministers, to whatever, there will be some people. Because honestly speaking, I have said this thing before, that I am seriously against people in positions of trust being sworn in by the Bible and the Quran. Because if people are taken, and I'm not talking about presidents or ministers alone, head of departments and all that, taken to Blaster House, to Blaster, yes, Blaster Square, and they say it after me, I swear by Densu, Ayensu, Ofeng, Pra, Tano, that all these things I have promised to do. If I don't do it, hey, like a lot of the because you see, people are doing things and hiding behind the technicalities of Western law. Because during the time of our ancestors, you cannot go and, excuse me to say, sleep with somebody's wife, and then you go to court boldly and say that, bring me evidence at a football match. Bring me evidence. You can't do that.
In fact, we come and see so.
No. In African spirituality, nobody is going to put that plenty unnecessary arguments down there. Did you do that or not? Get Edukromun so in the calabash. And there was a case. I was a friend to Osofo Konfodamwa, and they had a case, and one of their priests represented them in the court. And the other session came, sworn with the Bible and everything, and lied. Then this Africania guy also came, took his big calabash, put it on the floor, and then took small calabash and Kromunso in it, and said that our constitution allows me to swear by affirmation. So I, Osono Dako, if all that I'm coming to say will be lies and damage the present and the future generations after me, then all these energies that God has put into these various rivers that I'm coming to call should deal with me. And if anybody here in this case also is also going to do something that is going to affect the present and future generations, then he started calling the rivers. Ofen, Tano, Pra should also deal with them, because these energies were created by the same God we all believe in, including those who swore with the Bible and those who swore with the Quran. Manuato. The weekend, they rushed to the house and told them that
fire.
You see, so if we should be guided by things that will make us do things right, then we should be guided by the things that will force the people in authority to do things right, not some skirmishes that will let them swerve around and people will go and stand in court and go with a lot of technicalities, and then nothing will come out of it.
And then nothing will come out of it. I said your advice. Finish that and we are gone. Our time is due.
My main advice is that let's try as much as possible to be Africans and not pseudo citizens of the world. Now we are just like the bat. We don't know where we belong to. When it comes to crunch, then we say, as for me, I believe in God, so I will not swear. But we are near. So everybody from the top president to the cleaner, everybody should be able to know that the little work you are doing or the big work you are doing impacts on people's life. And we were first Africans before we became anything, whether Buddhist or Hindu or Christian or Muslim. So we should not throw our Africanness away, because if we throw it away, we are in a mess.
Your numbers and your how to locate you. But do you think we are not in a mess? Are we in a mess as Africans?
Oh, yeah.
Is there hope?
There is hope.
Which is?
I'm one of the hopes.
You are one of the hope. What are you doing to prove that you are the hope? Tell us.
I have a seed bank that I'm creating with a lot of old foods on the River Yensu at a place called Akokwa. And I'm picking old foods and leaving them there for the next generation coming. I'm not thinking about myself. For the next years.
When you say old foods, what do you mean?
Oh, some of the foods we stopped eating.
Ah, okay.
Because the popular ones, they have destroyed them, like corn. It's all GMO.
They say a yellow.
Exactly. I don't know, you also have the same idea like me. We never had anything like yellow corn in West Africa. I'm not even talking about Ghana.
They say, oh, yellow.
Our corn was basically the small or the big white one from the Krobo and then the Kitampo area. And then the red and violet one from the Nzima area. Those ones are rather gone. And we have one of the best species of rice in the world, the Oriza glabarima, which is produced on the
water region.
Exactly, on the Afadjato Mountains. And we don't even consume it. And we are now consuming plastic rice.
Polythene bags.
You see.
So and what? I want to know the ones you are saving. Our time is gone.
So things like Nkamfo, that Nkamfo yam, you can eat only that one and it will be able to help you fight against diabetes.
But we say it's better. Now we don't even potatoes. Even brobe, we don't have our original brobe anymore.
Yes. And then pepper, our own
Kenyan pepper,
the one the Gans call Akwele Wabi. We have to save it because we were lied to that it was very bad, it will hurt your heart. Now they are knowing that that one rather is good. A lot of the things they have told us, they've come to turn it upside down.
Even coconut.
And coconut. They used to tell us coconut oil is not good, it's saturated oil. It was in all the medical books, it's not good. At the end of the day, we've gone 360 degrees back, and now even we can't get the coconut oil to buy.
Abusia, a word to a wise is in the north. Oh, you're doing an assembly day. You're serious. Me, dear, me, Ankasa. Aye, but this year, no, Adom Reno, almost say a January. We are going to do like 1,000 acres crops. Yeah, funny say, Crawford mu follow yin na ye na ebe feed you munti. Ye na ebroso ana ebroso. When we start weeding and all that, we will take us through, and as we grow, we will take us through for you to know. Inti medical aka obi anye bibi na weduane at least. That's what keeps you healthy. That's what keeps everything in you. Papa, thank you so much for coming.
I'm offering you my book where I have
written
listed a lot of good Ghanaian foods and their nutritional value.
Okay, so African Traditional Health Care as a Way of Life by Kofi Asare. Choosing to Heal. And a book na or the aban watch no. So the only say the papa bia beboa de me show off. Or say African yeduane na yedidi di ni bi na watching or the egum na watchro ho and some senka ye bia obi atwetwe nketen say anka ye history ni bebre wo ho a wo ho enti or the abame hwe ade a mehu wom. You didn't put the pictures of the food.
Is on general healing, herbs and food.
I understand. I want to know if there's any food in it. Okay, so abusia wo de wutobi an haba ni bi wom tame ewu bole ha. Enti no tame ewu de all the way. But I've seen plantain. Enti me de no plantain brode e na ewo mu no. Enti no mama ye nto is how much is the book?
120.
120 cedis. Uto na wo de egu ho no na chese wo ready. Now you learn about our foods. Here, papa.
And we have the nutritional value of our foods and so. You tell him that to do your kagari away now in your womb. Yes,
okay. Or sending in our womb. I did me who ya me pen any moko someone. Okay. They say who call America ne Europe near there. I was small container. Even Ghana hapo. I was small container. So almost friend organic pepper. Ne board dino. I change their pepper na yetu na we miss one. Tam na ye we kurase no ye tete ebresa na tete na e ka wonsa ho na e ko weni a obeda sharp so and then so they bre wuni autobook ni bia ebeboa ye niam na gumi dey encourage anything good. I thank you so much for coming, Papa. We appreciate you. This is my own gift to me. The better table so mo ba na ma be kind. Thank you so much for watching Revelations, the biggest, the largest, the highest, the tallest, the mightiest, the obolo. Shalom.